What is it about female characters that I just don't like? Does anyone get what I mean? Does anyone know? Yes? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get brutally scrutinized by talking about this. With Wonder Woman being out and all, and girl power, who we. But there are just some female characters that I cannot stomach. I always say, like, in comics, like Marvel or DC, there are very few female characters that I like. And that, is either because they are written in a very one-dimensional way, where it's very, they're very categorized. I give the example of them being the in-your-face feminist. Sorry, but like, the I don't need anyone, I don't need your saving, I can save a man, I don't need a man, but like that's all they spew out, is that I don't need nobody, I can save myself, I can save you, I can do this and that without anyone's help. And then there's the female who is supposed to be a hero but ends up being the damsel in distress. I don't know if you see that a lot, but I don't know. I see some characters who are like, yeah, I can take care of myself. Crap, I'm in trouble. And there are just some girls that are only used to be, I guess, love interests? Yeah, basically just used to be love interests, and they're very personality-less. But every now and then, there are some female characters that I like. I talked earlier about Labyrinth and how Sarah wasn't my favorite. And it's because she was so whiny. And that's how some characters who are female leads going, questing are. They're whiny, or they are, I don't need your help. I can do whatever I want. I can do this and that, and it's... And that's sort of why I didn't like Wonder Woman. She felt too in your face about being a woman. I know that sounds really horrible, and I am all for, like, feminism. You guys gotta understand, I'm all for, like, equality, and I'm all for, women, taking center stage. But the thing is, it's written so poorly sometimes. Trying to convey that equality and that sense of confidence and bravery in a woman is really hard to do. It's really hard to capture that in a woman. Even for women writers who say, I want to make a very strong female character. Sometimes they can't even get it right. It's such a hard balance. And either people will like it a lot, and sometimes people will want more of it, or sometimes people will say, I felt like that was too in your face. And, I don't know. For me, writing a female character isn't about making them stand out, or making them proclaim that they are a good female character because they just are. Like, they don't have to say it. Like, they don't have to, be an exception. Just write them like any other person. Honestly, the same thing that you could write about, as a guy, I do for a girl. Because, that's equality. They're not alien species that have to be written a certain way. They're women. They're just girls. I mean, we're all still humans, male, female. Like, it's the same. They don't have to be written too in your face or too meek, or they don't have to be written too preppy or girly. I mean, sure, that's how some girls are, but if you exaggerate it, then it's so one-dimensional, and some people find it very in your face. Like, no matter what you do, when you write a girl, people are either going to like it, but there's going to be a lot of people who criticize it. And that's how it is in movies and comics. the whininess is something so often done. And I remember I just recently saw the first Alien movie. Yeah, I know, I'm late to the party, guys. But there was one female character, the girl with the blonde short hair. I I audibly said, oh, I just want her to die. And here's the thing. I love Ripley. I do. I love her. She's like my favorite character in that movie. But the other girl she cried and she whined and she like, ugh. It made it so hard to root for her. I think, and I don't know if it's just me who feels this way, but there is something about Japanese, manga or anime where they just get female characters right. Not all of them, but a lot of them are just, I think, done very well. An example would be Mikasa. This is horrible, but she's quiet. But normally people stereotype women as being very chatty and loud and blah 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 blah, which isn't always true. And Mikasa's the exception of actions speak louder than words. And I think that's what a lot of people like about her is she is brave. And she doesn't have to say it. Like a lot of Western writers have to do. They feel like they have to say it rather than show it. A Western artist who, or director who did do that very well was Joss Whedon? Yeah, Joss Whedon in Firefly. Zoe, Anara, and my sweet baby Kaylee. My sweet Kaylee. Just done great. I love those girls. And they are the example of actions speak louder than words. But, back to, Japanese artwork. Who else? Winry. Winry from Fullmetal Alchemist. Oh, I love her. She's so well done. Even if she is, like, the talkative and, not actions speak louder than words, she can back up her talk. Being a brilliant mechanic and being a super caring woman, being very strong-willed, she backs it up all perfectly. And there's a balance between actions and words, I think, in her writing. Who else am I thinking? Oh my gosh, I know who I'm thinking of. Haruhi. Haruhi Fujioka from Ouran High School Host Club. She has to be my favorite female in anime. I mean it, genuinely. And it's not just because she's a tomboy. It is because the line in the first episode just gets everyone. I don't think it matters, I'm paraphrasing, but I don't think it matters what gender you are, just as long as you are a good person. That's what matters. She is so down to earth. She is so strong-willed, but she is so patient with these boys. She's so patient. And she is so smart for her age. And she knows when to speak and when to let others work their own issues out. She's just such a great female character. I love it. I love it. I love it. Here's a fun one. Is Studio Ghibli. Now, I don't know if you probably have realized this, if you know anything about Studio Ghibli. It's that a lot of their movies focus on female characters. And Miyazaki has done a wonderful job just by watching, like Spirited Away. Just watching his daughter and his daughter's friend, while they were on a summer vacation. Just watching and understanding, so that's what a tween is like. Transitioning from child to young woman. And that's when he created, the character of Chihiro. And Chihiro is a character that I want to talk about separately. in a movie, or, you know, as the movie as a whole, like separately. But Chihiro is one of those characters that a lot of people at first dislike and are meant to kind of dislike, but at the very end just love to pieces because of what she's gone through. That is the good example of someone who goes on a quest, you know, immature and selfish and kind of bratty and whiny, and comes out of it a woman, mature, unlike how we saw with Sarah. And just these wonderful female characters that he creates. Nausicaa, just being very strong-willed and very kind and very sweet and gentle to someone or something that she doesn't even understand. Kiki, growing up as, you know, a 13-year-old trying to find her place in the world. Just very optimistic and very lighthearted. And then there's Sophie. Oh, my sweet Sophie. I love Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle. I love her. She's my favorite, going from meek and quiet and shy to very outspoken and brave and confident as an old woman. She's a brilliant example of a woman, truly, I think. If I had a daughter, and I wanted to sit her down, and I wanted to show her an example of what a woman is to me, I would show her Sophie, and I would show her Haruhi. And I would point out the bravery, the kindness, the patience, and the love that those two characters show endlessly towards, you know, their fellow castmates, characters, you know. Just, I don't know. I'm sure I can come up with a lot of other Japanese females that I just adore, but there's something about the way that they create their female characters that I think they just get. That they somehow are able to show rather than tell. And I just want to see that in, you know, Western pop culture more often. I know we get to see it in some variations of the Batgirl, Catwoman, Harley Quinn nowadays. You know, she's such a strong woman now. This is why it's hard for me to come up with female characters, because, I don't know, for me, it's so easy for me to read a comic, you know, that's black and white, and picture it in my head as coming across very one-dimensional. I don't know if I'm the only one who's like that or not. And I haven't seen Wonder Woman yet. And from what everybody's been saying, it's really good, and it's like leaps and bounds from, you know, the one-dimensional feminism that we see in the past, and it truly represents feminism with such a strong feeling and such a powerful feeling. And I don't know, I might enjoy it. I'll have to make a video about it. Yeah. Let's make good girl characters, guys. Please, let's make good characters, because I don't know. I think we're getting a grasp on what feminism really is. I think we're getting a grasp on the fact that women aren't just stereotypes, and that they are just like, they're very much like guys. They're, you know, they can be written the same as guys, I think. Is in some cases. There's like a, you know, whole spectrum of people. Men who act feminine, girls who act, you know, like tomboys or like guys. There's a whole spectrum of people, beautiful, beautiful people in the world. Let's write them as they truly are. This is Archer with a Sword. Very hopeful for a new world and new characters. Bye.